Yeah, I respect it, man. Can't argue with that. And Kendrick, what's the issue with that? I know he had Canadians mad, right? Like, what's the issue with that?
Yeah, man. I did an interview with some Canadian brothers the morning after the fake Trump assassination attempt. And those brothers, they alluded to the fact that, in their opinion, the title of Kendrick Lamar's song, They Not Like Us, was intended as a slight against Canadian Africans. I didn't believe that to be true because I don't believe Kendrick is that type of guy. He's a very grassroots guy. I don't think he's a Pan-Africanist per se, who's really focused on the unity of all African people across the world as I am. But I still believe Kendrick to be someone who, believes in the respect, that we should all have for each other as Black people around the world. So I don't think Kendrick was going at the entire Canadian African family, but they feel that way. And the reason they feel that way is in the comments. This is what they said. They said, if you go online, Dr. Umar, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, if you look at the comments being made by American Africans about Canadian Africans in relation to the Kendrick Drake beef, they are attacking all of us as a people. They're not just attacking Drake, saying he's not like us. They're saying that the Canadian African is not like the American African. And what I told those brothers, shout out to them, and I hope to see them October 5th and 6th when I come to Toronto this year. But what I told them brothers, if Kendrick intended that song as a slight against the Canadian African community, I have a problem with Kendrick because that's a violation of Pan-African protocol and unity. Although I said, I don't believe that's the way it was intended. And there was another brother on the set of that podcast interview in Newark, New Jersey, shout out to Mouse. And he clarified, he said, Dr. Umar, Kendrick was talking about Drake. Kendrick was not talking about all Canadian Africans. And a lot of other people have since then texted me because they saw the Breakfast Club conversation. They said, Dr. Umar, Kendrick was talking to Drake and Drake only, not all Canadian Africans. He has fans in Canada. Why would he do that? And I genuinely believe that. But you know what I told them? Just like I'm going to tell you, I said, Kendrick needs to clarify. Just like Drake needs to clarify if he's Black first or Jewish first, Kendrick needs to clarify that They Not Like Us was only for Drake. I was not trying to say that Canadian Africans are unlike American Africans and have no right to practice or participate in our hip hop. You feel me? He could do it in the interview. He could do it on a live. He could do it on the record. I had to do it. I had a beef with a brother in the conscious community. I talked about him being pale, very fair-skinned brother. I was only talking to him. I was not attacking pale-skinned Africans. I was not attacking albino Africans. I was not attacking mixed-race Africans. I was not attacking light-skinned Africans. I was talking about one person. But guess what, Art? My inbox got flooded by albino Africans, light-skinned Africans, mixed-race Africans, pale Africans. They said, Dr. Umar, why you hating on us like that? I'm a supporter. I'm not hating on you, bro. I'm going to war with this brother. But they took it personally. And because you got people in the comments trying to make it sound like Kendrick was attacking all of Black Canada, Kendrick needs to speak to all of Black Canada. I don't want this to turn into a Tupac Big. We've already learned the history of that. I lived through the Tupac Big. I remember we were supposed to have Little Kim at my Spring Fling concert in 1997 when I was president of the Black Student Union at Millersville University. It was going to be Little Kim and KRS-One, and Biggie got shot and Little Kim dropped out, and Jay-Z. We brought Jay-Z in place for Little Kim. So I lived through that East Coast, West Coast. We don't need no above the border, below the border beef. We don't need no American African versus Canadian African. What happened to Rick Ross, we don't need that. We don't need Black people going into Canada being attacked by African Canadians or African Canadians, Canadian Africans rather, coming to America being attacked by American Africans. Nah, we one people, man. That border that divides us, that's a white man's border. That ain't us. That border that divides Canada and America, that was put there by Caucasians. That wasn't put there by Black people. So why would we identify with an artificial boundary that our mutual oppressors created? Black Canadians, Our Canadian African brothers and sisters, they catch the same hell that we catch here, man. They catch the same hell. So I don't want this to become a Canada versus America war. No, Drake, Kendrick, put an end to this. Too many people can get hurt behind it. Let's put an end to it.
And you had an issue with Drake also, right?
I want him to clarify whether or not he identifies as a black man, because too many people, I've never seen him say he didn't, but too many people are telling me that he doesn't, that he's always pushing his Jewish heritage, which is fine. But you became a millionaire through hip hop. You made your name through hip hop. And as a result of that, you need to make sure that you black first. If you ain't black first, say that and let people decide if they still want to support you. But see, what I don't want is mixed race Africans who don't consider themselves black, whether that's Drake, whether that's Amber Rose, whether that's anybody else. I don't want any mixed race African who doesn't identify with us to do so only when it's convenient for them to exploit the culture. Because if you don't identify as black, you are a visitor in the house of hip hop, as far as I'm concerned. If you don't identify as black, you are a visitor in the house of hip hop. But I don't want to take it so far, Art, because even in that, there's a small contradiction, because Eminem and DJ Khaled clearly are not African, and they are not treated like visitors in the house of hip hop. They are treated like family. So if we're going to treat a pure white man, Eminem, and a pure Arab in DJ Khaled, if we're going to treat them like hip hop family, why do we have the issue with Drake and Amber Rose saying they're mixed race? I can't claim them if they identify as mixed race, because that's against what I stand for. I can't claim Drake and Amber Rose if they identify as mixed race, but hip hop should be able to, because after all, you got a white man and an Arab, DJ Khaled and Eminem, and y'all treat them like royalty. So don't do a double standard for Amber, and don't do a double standard for Drake. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If DJ Khaled and Eminem ain't got to be black to be considered hip hop family, Drake shouldn't have to be either. That's where I stand on it.